Okay, from
so we're gonna
Argus
use
USBL.
So we're going to call this, what do we call it? R1055_01.
R1055_01.
And then, well, that's the line number, and then we can call it. No, actually, no, that's fine, because we'll just call the target number. So that's the target. That's fine.
01 will be the target.
Yeah.
And the next one will be R1055_02?
Correct.
Okay.
The file name is going to be actually the same because we're on line 1. So it's R1055_01. But the file will eventually turn over to .001 so we can monitor that. Did you get this stuff, guys?
If you want, I can get it from HiPack as well. I don't know where you guys, if you're recording it from there.
We're going to record it from HiPack, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, this is just a test as well.
So we have a slow oscillation between about 265 and 310 or so.
Yeah, I think we're going to need the heading back on.
You're going to need the aft thruster?
I think
at least
just the forward thruster.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll try just the forward, see if that holds it.
Okay, thanks.
It's crabbing.
Yeah, it's crabbing. So then those target will be, the ones that I drop will be, yeah.
Oh yeah, we need to know that too. What?
Bigger fin.
Oh no, something like that. You guys good? Really? We do, yeah. Okay.
So is that box on the screen, can that move up or down just a bit? Whoever's got control of the...
Yeah, because we want to take a look at the depth there, just keep it.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
We're using the very top there to kind of keep a sanity check on the altitude too.
Yep.
Although we do have visual also. And sorry, one other question. The port cathex, is that known to be an issue with the data, or was that because it was flickering?
What are we asking? That was apparently seemed to cause noise.
Roger.
So we can see seafloor in Argus, just in case you guys want to look in the background. But
oh yeah, we've got it up. Yeah, you can see the seafloor.
Yeah.
So if we go over something interesting, we're going to see you guys. Yeah, that's the seabed right there. That's awesome. That's a really good operation mode. We're not going to miss something.
it's a spicy operation mode.
So
Do it.
So guys, the plan is now to
there
go
it
right
is.
over
That's a
it,
good
okay?
Do it. Huh? No, I know you want to come down 2 meters. He said 10 to 20, right? You're at 12, so you got 2 in the bank. Want to live on the edge, one rail.
Take every bit you can get.
And just to let you know, the camera's tilted pretty far down, so like that's our angle. I can change it if you want, but I think this is good for the lighting. Yeah.
So we're looking pretty much straight underneath
I didn't
Argus.
expect to be able to see the seabed, and this is actually really good.
At 10 meters, yeah, we'll see
Fantastic.
the seabed.
So I mean, I know. So we're going to be chasing the slope downhill this way, and we're going to be doing it the other way coming up. But if we can do this as much as possible, that'll increase our odds of seeing something.
Yeah, it's amazing we can see any
That's
seabed
awesome.
at all going downhill.
Yeah, it's a really gradual slope, but that is an unexpected surprise. That's great.
Bonus.
So Summer's getting western with it, living on the edge of
western.
Heck yeah. I'm just getting a good left forearm workout.
Like,
What are those small black things in the middle of the screen?
Northwest.
56 degrees is that camera angle, if you believe that.
It might be a fish, so we might be seeing the
56?
shadow.
56.
I don't. That sounds. Yeah, that sounds accurate.
I could get bored, and I don't know why we have the sonar and polar when we're going forward, but
Yeah, do you
I
want
like to
to
see what's behind me.
Do you want to? We could just do the half.
I could.
I guess it depends on if we're going to keep our heading.
Our heading's been...
Yeah, we're going to be
Oh,
good.
the ship heading?
No, the Argus heading,
Oh.
which we're now keeping because you just have the front thruster is
Yeah,
enough
it's
to do
just-
it.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
doing well.
Yeah. How's the data look to you? Good.
It looks all right. What I thought was a lot of noise at first, I think it's just rocks. So,
Yeah.
So
we're getting some, like, because we're going so slow, we're getting some stretching in it. But
Yeah, we're going very slow.
Yeah.
the heading is not right.
So it's trying to go a knot, but it's only going 0.4, 0.5 now.
Once we kind of
Heading
get
one's
our
off.
own act together. I think
Yeah,
we'll
he went to
probably wanna
go
bump that
see
up
if
a
he
bit.
could put the.
File name is going to be the same file name the whole time, isn't it?
No, it'll advance itself. So, can I close this now?
I did not hear. It's not. Not to me, it doesn't.
Hey, Mike. He's not on.
Ah, my OCD can't deal with it.
So for those of you joining us as we are now actually doing our survey lines, you can actually see the bottom of the ocean, and hopefully in the near future you're also going to be able to see the sonar
Heading was
mapping
tweaked,
as
I don't
well.
know.
Has it
We're
always been
currently
that way?
preparing it for you,
No.
but we are traveling slowly
That's scary.
as we continue to map and search for the wreckage and create a side scan sonar map of this search area, which is about 2 square miles. We're going to be doing this tentatively
feed
for
that.
about a day.
There's no way for it to be mounted slightly off, right? It's either,
As far as I know, it's mounted bang on.
yeah.
Single digits. Single digit. We still need that sound bite. Terrain. Terrain.
Yeah.
Terrain.
Pull up. Pull
Lordy.
up.
So Mike, is this, with this altitude,
Yes.
are you okay with the distance that we're getting to still run 300-meter spacing lines?
Yeah, so I have them set right now for 400, but we are getting some attenuation on the side, so I'm going to adjust, I'm going to tinker with that a bit.
Okay.
Put this down to 150 on either side. But I mean, I might just leave it at 200, and we're just not going to get great stuff on the outside, which
Sure.
we understand.
But the spacing we're running currently is 300, and that should be okay.
Sync status is good.
Also, we noted that the heading that's reading out on the edge tech is not correct. I don't know what that's being fed from.
The heading is probably coming from the ping, so it's counting. It's probably like connecting each lat long point to each other and figuring out where it's going. It's the heading of Argus that's not correct?
We have, our Argus heading is correct on the compass, and the bearing, we know which way the ship is going, and
Yeah.
it should be the same 335, but there's a readout that's saying 97, 98
yeah, well,
right
the
now.
heading on Hypex is 65. Oh, no, really, that's the ship's heading.
Ship's heading, right,
So the
yeah.
line heading is,
The line bearing is 335 here.
oh, that's weird.
So
Yeah,
over
that
on
is
edge tech, it now says 100. I don't know where that's coming from.
I don't know where that's coming from either.
Okay.
That's a,
It's mainly just, I would imagine that may matter for you in post-processing, but for
Yeah.
now it should be all fine.
yeah, I mean, so again, I have a software with me on a search laptop that I will run all this stuff through and see how things look once we've gotten a couple of files done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this is not the type of towfish that these things are designed for, and we're kind of feeding it sort of backdoor data to like for the nav. So it's not a surprise that some things aren't going to sync right.
Right.
Because we kind of made up the towfish for it.
Right.
But so far, it's looking all right. We're good. We're really good out to about 100 meters, and then it gets a little fuzzy. I do like that we can see the seabed.
What was that we just went over?
What?
Just a scour mark of some kind.
Yeah, this is just a scour from animals or something on the seabed.
With our depth, about how wide of a field of view are we seeing on Argus's camera?
Sorry, say again?
With our current depth, how wide of a field of view are we probably seeing with Argus's camera?
That's a good question.
That is an excellent question. There's math involved. We're 10 meters up.
I don't know. I don't
There's
know
no video person here.
Yeah, I'm not sure the camera's field of view. 90? So 90 degrees, 10 meters off the deck.
I can do the math.
Pythagoreans.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Yeah. Why don't we put that one over to the viewers? We're tinkering with knobs over here, so if we're 10 meters off the seafloor and our camera has a field of view of 90 degrees, so 45 degrees on each side.
That should just be 20 meters, right?
Well, you're the one with the calculator.
Because the field of view is 90 degrees.
Total, so 45
yeah.
on each
So
side.
then 45 means both legs of the triangle are the same, so it should be total of 20.
Excellent.
45 Sokotoa.
Sokotoa. Did you just sneeze? Yeah, Peyton's the one still in school, so he should be able to answer this.
Exactly.
We're all retired from school.
So what is this orientation? What does this do?
Oh.
So
that's one.
What is so
yeah.
This is,
I think they're rocks.
It's peeled open.
Actually.
So yeah, I can't do that. That's no good.
Summer, what direction is the stabilizing fin pointed in?
Like, how accurate do you want that answer to be?
Is it like horizontal or vertical?
Yeah, it's like a rudder, so it's horizontal. It's sorry, it's vertical.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's up and down. If you can just picture like a sailboat, you know, the rudder on the back, it's the exact same thing. We just bolted it. It's aluminum. We bolted to the back to just keep it Argus kind of at a good straight.
Gotcha.
Track.
Thanks, Summer.
Guys, we're just playing with something here real quick, so don't panic.
I'm panicked. Yeah. We're all playing with stuff and like nobody has an idea what's actually.
Well, I'm just cycling.
Huh.
I mean, we can still do it manually. When we process it, I mean.
So watching at home, you can't currently see the side scan sonar mapping yet, but you are in luck because Argus's camera can give you a pretty good picture of the bottom of the ocean. So you can see the seafloor right now. Obviously, we don't currently see any wreckage, but that is, we're just in the very, very beginning stages of our search. So we have a 2 square mile area to search, and we have plenty of time over the next 24 hours to scan this area and find some targets worth exploring.
I think we just passed by a jellyfish.
Score. Jellyfish for everyone.
Oh.
Now, Peyton, do you know the full classification and taxonomic?
Oh yeah, I've been trying to take notes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to be that detailed, but I'll try.
I believe in you.
Thanks, Brian.
No problem. If you're wondering why the at home, you can kind of see Argus come closer and then further away from the seafloor, which you typically don't see with a Hercules dive. Argus is tethered directly to the ship, and Hercules, when we're diving, Argus is there to kind of take the heave of the waves up and down off of Hercules, so Hercules does not get pulled that way. Argus doesn't have anything like that, so as the ship goes up with the waves, so does Argus. As the ship goes down with the waves, so does Argus. So you'll see that we get closer and a little bit further.
Hey, Rennie.
Yes.
And closer.
After looking at the, I like the fact that we can see the seabed, and I want to keep that as best we can.
Roger.
But that's kind of, we're not really looking very well out to 300 meters. So
I see,
can we make 200 meter line spacing?
We can indeed.
All right, thanks.
Also, our speed has been around 0.4, so we'll have to kind of double our time estimate.
Is there any way that we can get faster?
No, unless we change the...
Yeah.
So because of the 25 knot winds coming from the east,
Oh, okay.
so we could change our survey pattern.
Right. Do you think we'd do better at speed if we
go facing into it?
Facing into it?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Because on the one hand, we wouldn't be crabbing along.
Right.
But it looks like he's got a heading that, so the bow thruster isn't really working that hard, but the jet pump does have to. Yeah.
I mean, it's your call, because you know how the ship works better.
I just think that, yeah, going into that, it might not. It's strong enough that it might still be as slow.
Yeah. What is the? Are we forecasted to have that the next week, or is it today the worst?
I think it's supposed to be coming down, but I'll double check that.
Okay.
Lounge is calling in.
Me? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Allison's gonna answer that weather question forecast.
Oh, okay.
I can talk to the bridge to see if they think we'll make better speed heading into it.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to figure out.
Yeah.
Before we start doing multiple lines.
Okay. Let's take a look at where we're at on our. So this is our progress so
Linear.
far.
Wiggle. Wiggly.
Did you drop a target?
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Just let.
Yeah,
So
I
which
forgot
side?
to tell you. It was about 40 meters to starboard.
40 meters to starboard.
Back there,
a
yeah.
little bit back.
Yeah.
40 meters to starboard.
That side?
Wasn't it?
Okay,
No,
and
it
it
was
was
this
0
Oh, sorry.
2.
She's telling me that it was
It was port
was
side.
port,
Yeah, sorry.
Ah, okay. Still 40 meters.
yeah. About. There's a weird circular thing too.
Yeah, I saw that.
And this is 0 2.
Yeah. Now I'm not sure if these are actually saving correctly. I got a ASCII error, so I'm going to try this one and see what happens. Are you guys good? Are you guys good? Okay. Yeah, that's bad. Okay. Hello.
Ready for forecast.
We're going to be doing this kind of thing.
So the camera view you're seeing is actually pretty much directly underneath Argus. So you're not necessarily looking out.
68. So that 7 and 9 was also in feet.
At.
Okay, so general coming slightly down. Okay, roger. Thank you. Uh, 0030. Oh, you mean in our time? Half, yeah.
With all this time they had to do, they couldn't put a smiley face on one of the wraps. Actually, I haven't been paying attention the whole time, but I don't think they did that.
Oh. On that too, yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that check mark with real numbers.
Okay. No, we're not.
Data, if you could just make a note in event log that our current layback from the ship is around 140 meters. Did you catch that, Data? Data?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah. Just make a note that our current layback from the ship is around 140 meters. Yeah, that's how far back Argus is. Just it's good to note in case
1.04?
140 meters.
140 meters.
140 meters. Thank you.
No problem.
This is another nice small outcropping of rock.
Oh, that's something.
It's a little rock.
Are those crabs around it?
Can't see. Yeah, you got Argus zoom over there.
Yeah.
That's just rock.
Yeah, I think those are crabs.
You got focus?
Yeah.
Are you guys good if I go talk to the bridge about this? Okay.
So when the Simone Clipper made its emergency landing and then suffered it from its explosion, we don't have a lot of solid evidence in terms of where it would have gone from there. So as the part sunk, there was quite a long time ago, and I'm not sure all the data was there to be able to determine exactly where it may have settled, hence the 2 square mile search area. So as we continue to explore this, based on historical evidence where they believe the wreckage sank, we hope to be able to find some of the pieces, some of the most identifiable ones we're looking for, the possibly front end or tail end of the plane, the engines, and the wings, which were about 118 feet and 2 inches, if I'm correct. An eyewitness account said that after the explosion, it floated on the surface for about 5 minutes before sinking as one piece, which is a pretty nice sized target for us to be able to look for.
Just to add a dimension to the wing, it's 13 feet wide.
Thanks, Lonnie.
You are a wealth of information, and I love it. The camera view you're seeing is directly underneath Argus, so
yeah,
we're just kind
coming
of
in.
Suna just said that
looking
looks
at the belly.
man-made.
That's something. Is that garbage?
We're just about to change that. So now on Sat-1, you'll be seeing our PC-1, which is our raw data from the Edge Tech. And on Sat-2, you'll be able to see the HOV video from Argus. And then Sat-3 remains a view out the aft so you can see our progress through the water.
Thanks, Ed. So I have a question for the crew. How does one become an aviation archaeologist?
Okay. Are you ready?
Oh, buckle up.
So
What was that?
the fields of archaeology and maritime archaeology, of course, have very many subfields, and aviation archaeology didn't really exist until maybe 30 years ago or thereabouts, when we got far enough away from the events like interwar period, World War II, where it would actually make a difference between a plane going into the realm of being an artifact. And actually underwater, that's a lot easier for that to occur because once you remove the airplane from the environment that it was supposed to be, i.e. the air, then nobody's touching it, nobody's looking at it. There are the same effects that are affecting other archaeological sites are now affecting this site. So also as we began to be able to see and interact with the underwater environments more clearly, then it really became a real field of study. So all that to say is that aviation archaeology really hasn't been developed and is still actively developing in terms of methodology, research areas, theory, everything like that. And it's being influenced by the technology that we have available to us. So aviation archaeologists like myself and a few others are pretty niche. There aren't too many of them. I just got my PhD last year. I think that there's a couple more of us. There's a lot of master's students who study aviation archaeology in East Carolina University and Flinders University in Australia, and then in other universities around the world, actually. But it's becoming more and more well-known, and archaeologists in general are becoming more and more cognizant of aviation sites as in terms of their ability to give us the same exact information that we get from other sites. So studying vintage aircraft wrecks is, I think, a really interesting subfield where it can teach you all kinds of things that we would normally learn from other archaeological sites as well, such as shipwrecks. So the same sorts of things like how did this aircraft go down? Why did it go down? Were there crew aboard or not? What were the circumstances surrounding a disappearance in this case? How has the wreck deteriorated? What's the site formation over time? And we can also study the wrecks in terms of their ability to give us information that we no longer have. So everybody sort of says, well, why would we ever study aircraft wrecks as archaeological objects? We have every single record. We were taking records at that time. It's not like a 16th century vessel or anything. And while that's true, you would actually be really surprised at the amount of information that is missing and the amount of aircraft that are no longer with us that were. So say, for instance, in this case, an S-42, we have no examples of that on land, you know, existing in museums, existing on land. We have no examples of it. And maybe we have the plans somewhere. I know, for an example, another flying boat aircraft, a Sikorsky, sorry, not a Sikorsky, a short Empire type aircraft. We're missing a lot of information for it, and we would only know more about the airplane when we actually found one underwater. So in those types of incidences, I think it's very important also for us to study the actual airplanes themselves to kind of fill in our gaps of what we think we know about history, manufacturing, aircraft design, all of that sort of thing.
Thanks. So if someone was interested in, they're watching this and said, you know, this is what I have to do.
Yeah.
This is how I have to spend my life. And they're maybe not near one of those 2 universities you listed. Would maybe their best field, their best chance to maybe just go into archaeology and then specify from there? Or?
Well, I think that there's a lot of different ways that you can, so everybody in this control van has a different specialty in coming into this. And so if you were interested in aircraft and not necessarily in
union rules,
the underwater part of it, you could definitely still look at aircraft wrecks on land. You can look at the history behind aircraft wrecks. You can be a researcher like Lonnie is. You can become a historian. You can go to school for all of these different types of things. So if you were interested in underwater aviation archaeology and learning the breakdown of airplanes underwater and site methodology for looking at them, you can go into archaeology for your bachelor's. You can go to anthropology for your bachelor's like I did. I got a master's of science in archaeology from University of Edinburgh, and then I went and got my PhD from Texas A&M University. Texas A&M has one of the most well-known nautical archaeology programs in the world. But like I said, there's a lot of different other programs with aviation archaeology as a commonplace. So pretty much, I mean, decide what you want to focus on, and that gives you a greater strength in coming into a university program. But by all means, you can focus on archaeology in general and then find what interests you and go from there as well.
Well, congrats on receiving your doctorate. What was your thesis?
My thesis was actually the sort of, well, actually, yeah, put me on the spot, and now I don't know my own thesis title. Thanks.
It was that good.
It was, but it looked into the aviation archaeology, basically the history and the development of the field, and then a series of best practices and methodology, focusing on 3 different case studies of how you take aviation archaeology from the history of the artifact into possibly the museum display of what you bring up and the conservation therein. That's about it.
Excellent. So you remembered it.
I just don't remember the title. It was a lot shorter than that.
But yours, that was just as good of an explanation.
Good.
We'll take it. So Lonnie, you've been involved with the discovery of a lot of other wreckages as well, have you not?
Yes, I'm actually an architect, so it's not researching isn't my profession, but I can't resist these unsolved mysteries, so whenever I'm asked to participate, I jump in. So I worked on the USS Macon as well, and it was kind of a thrill because Dr. Megan was aboard the Nautilus to lead the dive for that, and I was in the control room back at NOAA, so we could talk.
In Silver Spring?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we could communicate during the dive, and that was quite exciting. Also the USS Lexington, the USS Stewart, several ships.
Well, if I lose anything, I know who I'm coming to.
USS Macon was interesting because it was an aircraft carrying dirigible. It had a hangar, 5 F-9C Sparrowhawks inside that, of course, didn't need wheels because they came back to the mothership and hooked onto a trapeze and were hoisted up through a T-shaped hangar door underneath the dirigible. So quite an innovative time in aviation.
For any aircraft wrecks, as opposed to maybe a shipwreck, is there anything that typically stands out that some viewers are interested in learning from? Do the wings often survive, or?
Yes. So in everything, when we're looking at aircraft wrecks, it always depends on the crash mechanism and the crash event, basically. Mm-hmm. If you are asking what survives, I'm going to use an answer that our ROV pilots gave before. It depends, basically. So if you had a ditching where an aircraft came down on the water and it was a gentle-ish landing and the aircraft sunk from there, then probably the aircraft will remain intact on the bottom, except if there was any environmental damage. So if a hurricane rolled through, then maybe it's not going to be intact, and that's not because of the crash event. Or let's say if a fishing trawler came through, quite possibly the aircraft is not going to be intact anymore. And so in those circumstances, it depends a lot on what has actually happened in between it going down and you looking for it. But usually wing sections are very strong. They're meant to take a great load, and so they're built very strong. They won't break when they're going through the water column. They usually fall flat. Sometimes aircraft invert as they are going through the water column because the engines are usually heavy and that make the aircraft turn over on its way down to the seafloor. So sometimes you can see the aircraft rising above the seafloor and it's actually the bottom of it. If we had an aircraft that was broken up, you'd see different lumps of the crashed aircraft material. Like I said, it just depends on what happened before it went down actually through the water column as to what you find.
Awesome.
Awesome, we got it.
We have some listeners all the way from Guam. Thanks for tuning in.
Actually, over in the, well, it's over in the Guam area, but the Marianas Islands of Tinian and Saipan is where we were looking at our last big aircraft project. not Nautilus, but we were on Okeanos Explorer, and that was a B-29. It was actually the only B-29 ever found in underwater.
Oh.
In saltwater, sorry, excuse me. There is a B-29 in freshwater in the U.S. But that was a great sight right off the coast of Tinian.
Was it shot down, or did it
No,
have to ditch?
it had a ditching event. We actually don't know which exact aircraft it was, unfortunately, but it had a ditching event, and it was found right off of the airfield where it would have taken off. And there were many wrecks in that area. It was quite common for B-29s to have a ditching event on takeoff. Unfortunately, they were underpowered in the early, well, I guess it was the late war, but it was the early time period from when they were being used.
I think our listeners from Guam would be interested to know we're off the coast of American Samoa. And American Samoa and Jarvis Island are the only U.S. territories south of the equator. And they have rights as nationals, but not citizenship, so they can't vote.
That's beautiful.
Rocks.
Yeah.
If you're watching at home, you can see our two channels. One of them is the camera underneath Argus, as well as the side scan sonar that is attached to Argus. Argus is being used and towed behind the Nautilus right now, as we have it hovering about 20 meters or so above the bottom, and we're just over 3,000 meters or so below.
31, 33 meters
31,
depth.
33.
And we're between 10 and 15 meters at altitude.
Perfect.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we are traveling pretty slowly along, so we can get all the data we need as we move back and forth over this 2 square mile search area as we search for the Simone Clipper.
Oh, I think there's an anemone on that rock.
Yeah, I think you are right.
I agree.
Thank you for the zoom.
Yeah, can you just give me a quick species ID from that?
Come on, Peyton. Consult the notebook.
Just frantic flipping in the background.
Yeah, there's nothing you could do.
It's a blue
for that.
anemone.
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's a dark blue anemone.
Yeah.
The sea is dark.
Are you dropping a target back there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's target.
Can you let me know the distance off to port or starboard?
Port 20 meters. 20 some odd.
Yeah, about 25, 20, 25.
Off to port.
Port, correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Yeah. Weird shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll talk with the leader. Okay, yeah, I'll double check. Thank you. Can I have a target name for this? It's R1055, and then what is the number?
03.
03.
03? Okay.
Just want to make sure we're on the same.
Thank you.
Same mark. Yep.
Thank you.
Can its unofficial name be dark blue anemone?
No, I think that we're talking about this target here from the edge tech, not the.
Okay. I think we're good.
I
Thanks.
wonder if I could, from this distance, get a better color balance. I would go here first. Well, let's do this.
So as we dive, Hercules is not in the water with us currently. Hercules is on deck.
That's how it works, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I read the manual too.
And we're using Argus to, and Argus, the side scan sonar to create a map of the 2 square mile search area that we'll be searching for the next. It's been 24 hours for this dive, and we're a couple hours in. We're looking for targets that might be directly related to the shape of a plane, specifically the just over 118-foot wingspan that was reported by the one eyewitness observer to still be intact before sinking, and then some other possible signatures that may have survived the explosion, such as maybe the front of the plane or the back of the plane or the engines.
Hey, Data, Peyton?
Yes?
You have a second?
Yes.
So I'm curious. So you heard about this internship opportunity. You put together an application package. You got sponsorship letters from professors or people who knew you. You had video interviews. You got notified you were accepted. You found out what legs you're on. You got the dates. You flew for 16, 17 hours, whatever it was. Now you're sitting in the van. How's that feel?
At first, while we were descending, I was a little like, is that it? But now that we're actually looking at the bottom, it's incredibly exciting. And there's definitely, like, as they, for those in the audience, as you might have heard, we're dropping targets. I'm in the back with actually my supervisor, Suna, just recording data on what's being seen, information about, like, lat long, time, ping number, all sorts of stuff. So it's definitely a lot more engaged right now.
Good.
That's been really exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting mission. And you're out for this leg and the next one then, yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks for checking in.
Way to sum it up in a very accurate, short way. So you got on a plane, 16 hours travel.
It's a long journey, it's a very competitive internship, as you would expect.
Yeah.
And so
I can
you have months and months and months about thinking about, I want to get on that vessel and be sitting there. And then all of a sudden you're on that vessel sitting there. And
yeah.
It's always interesting to hear that. For those of us who have been to sea once or twice, a little different experience.
And Summer, our Argus pilot, you just came from a previous expedition somewhere else, correct?
That is accurate. Yes. Summer was just on the west coast of the United States, off Oregon, specifically doing some ROV work with a different institution.
Peyton's institution.
Hey.
Yeah, working with the University of Washington.
University of Washington represent.
That's what's up. Yeah, very cool people, very smart humans. I was impressed. I learned a lot. That's what's cool about this job, is just being around really smart humans and learning all the things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Being on board, it's been really interesting because it seems like all oceanographers know each other.
Yeah, it is a very
small field.
niche little thing you learn. And everyone's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Like-minded people unite.
Yeah.
Oh.
Looks like another rock.
That was a zoom. I was just paying attention. good. Keep doing that. It keeps me awake. I was like,
Just gotta surprise you every now and then.
Yeah, keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much sea life down here.
Yeah, there's been a couple of shadows.
Saw an anemone.
Yeah.
Jelly.
Some fish.
Some fish.
Was it 3? Oh, it's early.
We're marking another target.
Got it.
Starboard side, about 25 meters off.
Roger that.
Should be number 4. Yes.
Starboard 25 meters. It's almost was, yeah. Okay.
So Ed, how long will you be on this season?
I've already been on before,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just returning. I don't know how long I was out for before. And I'm here until early October.
Okay.
So, and I don't know how long that is.
So you packed extra socks.
Yeah, I have tropical gear and cold weather gear with me, as does Summer.
Yes, my bag was way overstuffed for this journey to the tropical lands.
Me too.
Yeah.
Did your rock make it okay?
It did, safely in Ed's
Yeah.
bag. He carried it on for me. It wasn't just a rock, okay? It was a
No.
fossil. So,
Fossil
let's
record.
call it what it is. It's pretty awesome.
Zooming.
Thanks for that heads up.
Crab? Maybe not.
No?
What are you even zooming in on?
That thing on the right. A little depression.
It's like
mound.
it's just a mound.
Can we zoom? Can we just say enhance?
Enhance. As a
The bane of your existence.
yeah, as a video
engineer.
professional. Yeah.
You just ruined so many CSI shows.
Yeah, I know. They zoom in on a picture of somebody, and in their sunglasses, they see a reflection of a car, and they get the license plate from it. Sure. That's how pixels work.
That's how 50% of crimes get solved in real life.
There's actually studies now that those shows are affecting juror pools. That jurors expect that technology to actually exist.
You know, have you heard about the studies with jury stuff where it depends on, they've done studies with when the last time the judge has eaten, and if the judge has been, if it's like right before lunch, like the sentences are way tougher than when if they had just eaten. They're like, yeah, it's pretty messed up actually when you think about it.
We're only human.
Everybody gets hangry.
Yeah. You just don't want
So
that
if you're
guy to
getting
be the
sentenced,
judge.
bring a bunch of Snickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be first thing in the morning.
Not a sponsor.
Ding.
Ed's waiting to go back in October and just have a big box of Snickers in the store.
I'm looking for our. We had a broken pipe in our house in the winter.
Yeah.
And so that was in February. So when I get home, I'm looking forward to see what our new house looks like.
Ah.
Rocks.
Zooming.
It looks like there might be something in the middle of that rock field. That could just be more rocks.
Let's cross our fingers.
Oh.
Peyton's hoping to name a new species.
Well, he wrote down all the names of every deep sea creature in his notebook.
I don't.
So he'll know.
I think that's slight misrepresentation, right?
Some species?
I just like taxonomy for a couple of the big groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not super in depth. I want to start reading some like ID guides.
Well, classes, but you know, knowing a holothurian from a, you know, I don't know, squid.
Yeah.
I just want to say I was here when I saw the Peyton squid identified for the first time.
Sorry, what?
I said I just want to be here for when the Peyton squid is identified for the first time.
When you see your squid.
I'll just know.
Unfortunately, it's a much more intricate process than that.
Yeah.
Good thought.
So looking at the camera, if you see any what appears to be small little flakes or things floating around, that's just some marine debris that is floating down.
Zooming.
Roger.
Summer, did you get to see any Dumbo octopus when you were out?
No, we saw, did not. Saw sharks at the shallow sites that we went to. That was cool. Had a hammerhead come in. I got a sweet picture of it, like coming in at us.
Oh, yeah.
Saw tuna. Big
they're
tuna.
fast, aren't they?
They are
They're so fast.
It got intrigued by our light, so it swam around us. That was awesome.
I was scuba diving in Hawaii once with my wife, and we saw a hammerhead.
Yeah,
Big fish.
Awesome looking. They're and their dorsal fins are like huge.
Yeah.
Like, so I've seen them break the surface too, like in the Bahamas and stuff, and you're just like, that is a big shark. And it is, I mean, it's still like a 12-foot hammerhead, but their dorsal fins just are like 2 feet up.
And they can move that much fish through the water with what appears to be very little effort.
Yeah, they're such cool sharks.
That was me.
Mad respect.
I was diving last month out at Bikini, and a tiger shark came around.
Ooh.
Which was both awesome and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, they go really shallow. Like,
I saw one of those in the harbor in Kona.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a juvenile, so it was about 6 feet long, but it was still big enough to
still rip your arm off.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was really awesome.
That's
How
awesome.
close did it get?
About 30, 40 feet away. Close enough to be close enough.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd seen any shark diving, and it was like, oh, that's the one you're going to throw me first? Okay.
Yeah.
Jumping in the deep end.
That's the first one you've seen?
Yeah, diving, and then later we were diving on a reef and saw like a white tip reef shark.
Oh yeah, those are great.
I was like, oh, hello, but it wasn't the sort of terrifyingness.
Little puppy dogs.
Out on Nicomaroro, not far from here in Kiribati, I've seen black tip sharks belly across the reef after fish. Out of water, totally out of water.
Yeah. I saw a white tip sleeping under the reef once, and it had got a hook from a long line into the side of its jaw. And I mean, we had pliers. We were so like, man, I wish we could just take that out, but
I also like both arms.
Opted not to. Yeah. Be a hard way to wake up. Couple divers.
I just have a cool video of a guy. Taking off a net from a dolphin, like a diver. Have you seen that?
That was Keller Laros from Jack's Diving Locker.
Oh, you know that, man. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Keller is so in tune with dolphins. If you watch the video, at one point the dolphin gets a little further away, and Keller like motions to it, like come here, like just like you would say to a person. And it came closer to him. He is Manta Man. He is the guy who came up with the manta dives in Hawaii, and he runs the Pacific Manta Foundation. I think that's what it's called, Man Keller.
I was on mute.
I hope I'm getting that right, buddy.
You're on nav though, right?
Yes, that's correct.
That's awesome.
Yep. Oh.